welcome back to Cypress from Zero to Hero, and in this lesson we will talk about different types of locators or locator syntax rules. So first thing, let's start our test application. So go to terminal, new terminal, and execute command npm start. Application is starting. All right, compiled successfully. Now open the browser. And I want to go to the Forms and Form Layouts page. This will be our example. Make a right click on the email, inspect, and here is the input field for the email field in this using the grid form. So let's use this as an example to find a different locators, and I will show you different syntax rules to find the locator for this input field or for the input fields in general. So going back to the code, removing this. And example number 1, how to find web element by tag name. I type cy. So in order to execute a Cypress command or start a new chain of Cypress commands, you need to type keyword cy. Then you put dot, and then you have a different methods that you can execute inside of the cy library. So we are looking for method get. cy.get is the main method to get the web elements on the web page. And to find web element by tag name, sorry, not tab name, by tag name, we just simply type this tag name here. In our example, it will be input. Well, that's it. And Cypress will find for us all web elements that has tag name input. Moving on, how to find by ID. Going back to application, and we have ID over here, which is input email 1. So I'm copying this value, input email 1, and type cy.get, and then hash sign, command V, input email 1. That's it. So when you provide the hash sign, you tell Cypress that the value after this hash sign is the ID. When you provide just the value, it means that you provide by tag. Okay, moving on. How to find by class value. cy.get, going back to application, and here's the class. And this class has a different value. So let me collapse it like that. It has input full wide, size medium, and shape rectangle. So let's say we want to find all web elements that has this class value input full wide. I copy this, going back to the code, paste inside of the single quotes, and in order to tell that I'm looking by class, I need to put dot in front of this value. All right, moving on. How to find by attribute name. cy.get, single quote, and let's say we want to find by attribute full wide. How about that? So let's take this value, or we can take placeholder value. Let's take full wide. Going back, and in order to tell Cypress that we are looking by attribute, we need to provide a square braces and put the name of this attribute inside of the square braces. That's it. The next example, how to find by attribute and value. The example will be pretty similar. cy.get, single quotes, and let's say in this example we want to locate the element by placeholder and it has value email. So I copy the entire thing, Control C, and also put a square braces, paste it here, and that's it. When we run this code, Cypress will try to find all web elements that has placeholder and value email in there. All right, moving on. Let's say we want to find the web element by entire class value. So here we have a class that has 3 values. How to do that? It's very similar. How by attribute, by entire class value, cy.get and I copying the entire class and put it into the square braces like that. Remember, I told you that class has a kind of a special role, same like ID, and in Cypress you have two options. If you want to find the web element just by the single class value, you can use dot like that. But if you want to use the entire class as an attribute, because class is also an attribute, you need to use the same syntax how we used over here, using the square braces, but in this case you will need to provide the entire value of the class. If you will delete any of those values from the class, something like that, it will not work. The value should be complete. So putting in back. Also, you can combine several different attributes or several different locators into one to make your locator more unique. For example, how to find by two attributes. And in this example, let's say we want to find cy.get. We want to find by placeholder email and by full white. You just simply put them together one by one into the same string without a space. It is important. So you put it as a one value in square braces, and here you should not put the space. It should be combined. In this case, Cypress will find all web elements that has both of those attributes inside of the web element. And you can also more unique combinations of that as well. For example, by tag, attribute, ID, and class. cy.get, and then you put all those things together. So this is our input. Then we put a placeholder. This is our attribute. Then we can put ID if we want. Take my ID, put it right here. And then if I want, I can take this class and chain it right here as well. So Cypress will recognize all of those locators independently and will search for the combination, which web element has all of those. This attribute, this ID, this tag name, and so on. And the last example, how to find by Cypress test ID. So going back to our application, and here we have a special attribute called data cy. This is one of the most recommended ways working with locators. If you have ability to add your own test locators into the source code, this is the most recommended way. I copying this one and cy.get, and pretty much doing exactly the same syntax as I was using finding by the attribute. So in this particular application, we have access to the source code. So we can easily add our own locators if we want to make them unique. This is the advantage when you have access to the source code. If you don't have access to the source code, you can use any of the combinations mentioned above to find the unique web elements. So now let's run our code and see how Cypress is able to find web elements. But before running this code, we need actually navigate to this page, to form and form layouts, right? So let's quickly write this code. So first thing, we need to navigate to our test application, cy.visit. And inside of the visit, inside of the single quote, I put the URL where we want to navigate. Since we already put base URL inside of the configuration file right here, then inside of the cy.visit, all we need to do is just provide a forward slash, and that's it. Cypress will navigate to the base URL. The next step, we need to navigate to forms. We need to click on this menu and then click on the form layouts page. And we can do it also by text. In order to find element by text, you can use command cy contains. First, we need to select forms dot click, and then second, cy contains, and the second is form layouts. And also click. After that, we will be on the form layouts page, and Cypress should find all those locators that we described over here. Let's try this. So our first terminal is up and running with application. We should not close it, and we need to open the second terminal and execute command npx cypress open. Okay, E2E testing, Electron. We have first test.spec.js, and let's try to run it. All right, Cypress successfully navigated to the form layouts page, and we see the execution over here. So Cypress was found input elements, input email 1, input full width, and so on. And look at this. So when I hover over input, get input, we see a small 20 number. 20 means that we have 20 elements on this page was found by Cypress that has a tag input. And also look on the page on the right. Cypress highlighted all the input elements that were found on this page. So input is not a unique element, of course. We will talk about how to find unique elements and how to travel through the DOM later, but it's just for your information that we tell Cypress, hey, find for us all input tags, and this is all it did. Then input email 1, this is a unique element because this is ID and it's unique for this page. It was found as well. You see it's highlighted on the top of the page. Cypress made a snapshot, a little bit scrolled it up so we don't see it, but we see that's highlighted in the top of the page. And so on. 14 elements with this class name, full width attribute 14 elements as well, placeholder email just 5, placeholder with full width 5 as well, and unique combination is unique this one, and data cy is unique as well. So that's it, and let's quickly summarize what we did in this lesson. So in Cypress, when you want to find any web element, the basic method to find the web element is cy.get. Then inside of the single quote, you put the locator that you want to find. If it's just a tag name, provide the name. If it's ID, provide the hash sign. If it's class value, provide the dot in front of it. If it's attribute, you need to provide the square braces. And then you can use different combinations of those to make your locators more unique. And also, if you have access to the source code, you can add your own attributes, call them data cy, and this is the most recommended and more reliable approach on finding the web elements. And also, I would like to note that Cypress by default does not support XPath. If you want to have XPath, you need to install separate plugin, but I would not recommend you using XPath as Cypress has already pretty strong mechanism of finding web elements, and later in the lectures I will show you all those tricks and techniques. Alright, thank you guys and see you in the next lesson.